Decoding Sacred Geometry. My favorite part. So, as you know, everything has a meaning. Everything you look at has a language, even silence has a meaning, nothingness, everything, you know? So, you don't need to have like a huge knowledge of, you know, all the symbolism and everything, because pretty much it's the feel. It goes with the feel. Sometimes most of the time, people come to the workshop and they're like, oh, I'm attracted to this one. You know, what is that? What is this symbol? I'm attracted to this one. And so it's maybe that it's the symbol that resonates at that moment. They don't necessarily, just like when you pick a crystal, you don't necessarily need to know the properties or you know where it comes from or anything. It's just you're attracted to it because this is what you need. You know, the crystals attracted and you're both attracted to each other. This is what you need right now for your healing or for letting something out. I don't know. So the symbol is the same thing. It's pretty much the feel. You can, I believe, it's personal, I believe that you can also program a lot of things with the power of your intention. So if you're painting a symbol and you don't know exactly the meaning of it, but whatever you think it is and the meaning, the intention you're putting into it, it's going to prevail, I think, for what the painting is going to spread. But you can just read the symbols. So when you look at the yin and the yang, so this one it's just a background for now, but you can see that it will symbolize unity, balance. You know, it's a circle that split circles completing each other, the black and white, so the opposition, the balance, unity, you know, the black and white, all these concepts you can already kind of guess just by looking at the symbol. Or the flower of life, if you know, you've done a little bit of science classes in school or anything, you know, it's the symbols of, you know, the cells. It's the image of the shape of the cells dividing in the body, creating life. And so the flower of life is symbols of creation, of life, of healing, the cells regenerating in the body. So when you put this in your house and you're looking at it, it resonates with the cells that you have within you. It creates that flow of energy. So yeah, this is what it brings. Or another symbol, for example, last time we were with friends and someone asked me, so what's the ankh? What's the symbol? And I was like, I'm not a specialist of Egypt, so this was before I made some more research into it and I knew exactly the meaning. But just looking at it, I was like, oh well, I think this little loop right here will represent the reincarnation, because the Egyptian believed in reincarnation, because it, you know, symbolizes how you go up and you're coming back down. So usually in a cross, you know, the upper part of the cross will represent the higher world, the spiritual planes and stuff, celestial worlds, plans. And so for the Egyptian, the loop would mean that they're coming back and they were believing in reincarnation. And then the balance on two sides would guess it would be the balance, the feminine and masculine energy, you know, and all this, you know, the anchor into the ground. So I don't know if it was exactly what it is, but then when I looked, it was pretty much, you know, something like this, and you're just reading it, you're just reading the shapes. Or another shape that's interesting to look at, I love to use this one as an example because it's very, very speaking. So this is a Hindu symbol, the unalo, and that represents the road to enlightenment. And it's very interesting because, you know how we say that growth is a spiral, because just like the ups and downs in your life, when you're going up, you know, you have a great successful time, you're you know, in a in a good vibe, everything's rolling in your life, it never lasts. you know there is something coming around the corner, and then it never lasts either. Then you get back to your good vibes. But every single time, you go through a good time or a bad period of time, you learn from it, you grow from it. So this is why it's an expanding spiral. It's not just a circle where you're going up and down. It's a spiral. It's the growth, the evolution of the life. And then once you're done, going through such up and downs, because you've grown enough and you've learned enough, then you start getting, the point is always to get back to your center, the dot here that represents the enlightenment, the spirituality, supposedly the time when you come to death, because supposedly when you've learned everything you were come to learn, it's your time to go. So this is the enlightenment point at the end, once you find your center. And so in between, you're still, going to twists and turns, you're looking for your way. I mean, I wish for you that you're going straight line. It's awesome, because some people are really good at going straight line, and because they're, even without knowing it, they're just so focused, and but everybody has their fails and their experience that get them back to come to the center. But then or for example, this makes me think a lot of how you react to something, your reactions. Sometimes you have some reactions that you need to work on. And for example, my son will do something. I told him 10 times not to do that. And my first time, I'm gonna be so mad. And I know I shouldn't react like that. But the second time, I'm gonna stay more in my center. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna lose my temper or anything, but you have to work on yourself. And every time you get a little better at learning about yourself too, because we're all here to improve ourselves mostly. And yeah, so every time I look at this symbol, it's very uplifting, because once I feel lost, I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm not lost, I'm just somewhere here, like I'm just wandering around, but I know all the roads lead to Rome, I guess. but yeah, every time I look at the symbols, they just remind me to keep going. They remind me, that everything happens for a reason. When I'm down, I know I'm going back up. When I'm lost, I know I'm going back to my center. Or when my body's sick, I know my cells are working for me. My body is working for me, even if I don't know it. I don't know I have cells, but yeah, they're working. Or this one, the wish pouch. Oh yeah, I talked about this one already. Oh yeah. So you can also, when you do your mandala, you can also just write a quote. So you know how the center of the mandala, if you read that little quote, the center is where you place your intention, the symbol, the deity that the monks used to do when they're doing their mandalas. And then you expand the energy from the center to the outwards, so from within to without to the outwards. And so just writing a word like this is spreading the energy around it, and they're just good reminders. Honestly, this helps so much. It's something you created. You have this within you. When I lose my temper and I'm like, hey, I just painted that, I can't be a hypocrite and not face my own growth. This is a reminder. You have to get back to your center. And like, I just created that, and now I'm going total there when I know I should go there. So they're roadmaps, pretty much. They're roadmaps. I have them all around my house, and I hope you get to put a little more in your house too.
Mommy.